people want to. Yes, it's live.
Yeah. Do you want me to go ahead and talk, Aaron?
That would be wonderful, Cassie.
Okay. Can folks in the room hear me okay? Can someone wave if they can hear me?
Yes, we've got better audio today.
Wonderful. So first off, I want to thank everyone that came out last night, and thanks to Aaron specifically for setting up there and listening and being a part of the panel. Had a packed house, really good discussion. And a lot of it focused on the rising gun violence in the Highlands, sort of the perceived decline in the neighborhood, the feeling that the late night bars have proliferated, more so that there's a sense of the neighborhood being out of balance in terms of sort of what residents would like to see, and also some of the issues that have come with that or not from that, right? I think there's disagreement about what's causing some of the issues in the neighborhood. So I know today, so one of the things that has been really helpful, and I've worked with Major Allen to increase the patrols. Chief Shields last night was pretty candid about the fact that, it takes a year to get more officers in the Highlands, or anywhere in the city. Quite frankly, it takes a year from the time you hire someone for them to be out on the streets. They're certainly trying to increase the officer presence. We're down 250 officers. But a lot of these things like increasing patrols, dealing with like the group violence issues through the group violence intervention, these are things that will take some time to work. Things like focusing on on poverty and on the root causes of violence, increased opportunities for youth. They take a while to work. And so what I'm hoping we can have a conversation about today is things that we could do more in the short term to make sure that our corridor continues to thrive. I know that we've all been doing cleanups. I'm happy to announce that the ambassador program is actually up and going to be starting, just so you all know what the hours are. So Thursday from 2:30 to 11, there will be 2 ambassadors that are called safety visibility ambassadors. They're going to be riding around on bikes and sort of helping with any issues that arise. They'll stop into your businesses and introduce themselves. We will have 4 of those safety visibility officers on Fridays and Saturdays from 2:30 until 11 p.m. And then we will have 2 cleaning ambassadors on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. And their main job is going to be to clean, sort of repair things that they're capable of repairing, do anything to keep the neighborhood nice and safe. So, or nice and clean. So I'm really excited about that. There's no cost to the businesses for that. That's being funded by American Rescue Plan dollars. So it is time limited, but I think it's going to be a really good thing to help the neighborhood get a good start on some of these cleanliness and safety issues. I know that today people wanted to talk about the liquor license ordinance debate. So I'll just tell you sort of where the idea came from and where it's at right now. Because I'll tell you, I am not wedded to anything in this whole conversation. I am open, I'm trying to work with the community, with the business community, with the neighborhood associations and the residents to figure out something that we believe will keep our neighborhood safe, because none of us want the Highlands to become a place that is known for a large amount of shootings and being unsafe. It's not good for business. It's not good for residents. It's just not good for our community. So the idea for changing the liquor license hours, I know that there have been previous conversations that have been focused more on the other issues around noise, around trash, around litter, around some of those things. This one was really rooted in, as the gun violence started to spike, I went and looked at public health studies and public safety studies of like, what could we do tomorrow? And I'll be honest, there's not a lot that the legislative branch of our local government can do that will have a short-term impact. I cannot personally go and create cops. I cannot patrol the streets. I cannot go and single-handedly open community centers or any of that stuff. One thing that other cities and countries have done is change their liquor license hours. And that has led to a decrease in violence in those cities. And also things like decreased drunk driving and decreased alcohol overdoses and all of those things. And so, you know, I like a bourbon as much as the next person, certainly not trying to kill any nightlife or kill the bar community, trying to think creatively about things that we could do that are data driven, that have been shown to have an impact on violent crime. The measure is for about a little over 3 months. It would sunset at the end of December. I am not going to bring it for a vote at the next council meeting. I'm still listening and trying to reach an agreement, talking to bars, talking to nightclubs. So the earliest that it would be heard would be like the end of September. So at most, it would be sort of a 90-day thing. LMPD supports it because they got 17,000 calls for service within 500 feet of a 4 a.m. license. The calls to 4 a.m. establishments between 2 and 4 represent about 10% of their total call volume. Even though if you think about the people that are out and about during those hours, it's less than 10% of the population. So it's sort of an overrepresented time for police to be out and about. So Chief Shields thinks that this would be a good way to sort of reset as we build capacity. I'll tell you candidly, I've had a lot of conversations. One of the reasons that we have people coming to our neighborhood with guns and, you know, and I don't mean coming to our neighborhood. I think sometimes, I'm sure there are people that live here that are coming out and about on Bardstown Road too. It's, but what I have been told is when they have arrested people who are group violence affiliated and have illegal guns on them, they've asked them, you know, why are you all here? Like, why are you in the Highlands? And what they say is, this is the only place in the city that has sort of this density of 4 a.m. bars, so they can stay out later. It's easier to walk around. One person said, I'm less likely to get shot by people who are looking for me here because there are more people out late at night on the street. And so I'm just trying to figure out, how do we make it so that our comparative advantage is not the place that people can go to stay really late and break the rules, right? How can we sort of like make it so that this is a place where people come to be safe and have a good time and enjoy a vibrant nightlife, but not endanger the safety of the community as they're doing that? And that's a really complicated question. And I regret I can't join you all for the full debate today. But I look forward to hearing what you have to say. Some of the ideas that came up last night that I thought were really great is, you know, could we have like a bar district advisory board where these late night businesses voluntarily agree to certain things, like everyone should provide security to manage the people that they're inviting into the neighborhood, right? You shouldn't be over serving people, letting them walk around with guns and get intoxicated and then turning them loose on the streets. Like that should not be something that members of our community are doing. You know, could we, a lot of the establishments have agreed voluntarily to close at either 2 or 3 in response to neighborhood concerns. Could we get some sort of, you know, agreement of what hours might look like, what, you know, sort of things people are going to do to help keep the community safe? I'm totally open to that idea, to some sort of voluntary business community led effort, and would be happy to support financially or in any way that I can to help with that. Also open, you know, to, of course, I'm going to continue to advocate for more ABC funding to make sure that bad actors, it's really hard to take away someone's liquor license under state law if they're being a bad actor, but more ABC officers, of course, would be helpful with that task. Right now, we have 7 for the whole city, and we have like 1,500 places that have liquor licenses. And so you can imagine 7 trying to enforce 1,500 it's a lot. And so I guess what I want to leave you with, and I'm happy to take a few questions, is I see this very much as a conversation about how, you know, I think most of us agree that this like bar district is where the increase in violence is occurring. And it's occurring midnight to 4. I know that not every shooting happens between 2 and 4, but we have a lot of people, they start coming out at midnight. It's more people than we've historically seen, and it's creating issues that we haven't historically seen. We've always heard complaints about noise or traffic or whatnot, or people who drink too much and, you know, go in someone's alleyway and decide that it's the toilet for the night. What we haven't seen is 3 shootings in 4 weeks. And so that's new. And I think it's something that should concern us all. because for any of our businesses to succeed here, we have to make sure that we're sort of all being good stewards of the neighborhood. So really just want to hear what your all's thoughts are. If you think it's liquor license hour changes, great. If you think it's something else, great. What I don't think is acceptable is the idea of doing nothing, or of, waiting a year for us to get more officers on the street. I think we have to be more proactive and come up with something in the short term that we think is going to make a difference. So I have a few minutes for questions, and then I know you all are going to have a conversation. I'm sure it will be spirited, and I hope that Aaron or someone will report back about what your all's thoughts are.
In continuing just a little bit, some of you all were able to attend the meeting last night, and in that it was an interesting contrast that was expressed, and it was very polarized, and spirited is a good word to look at that way. Some of the concerns had been, why do the people who have there's somebody has a speaker. Get it speak. All right. In the contrast of what has been going on, some of the bar representation said, we're good people, we need our hours, and in a community, why can't you be zone specific? I think Cassie and more than one person expressed, in this community, to have any regulations, it has to be uniform, which again creates a problem. How do you balance the community versus the Highlands? The other aspects were that some people absolutely believed it was the bars generating, over-serving, doing the extreme. And again, valid points to consider in the conversation. There's a third element that sort of has been mentioned, and that's a group of people who do not go inside the bars. They're a mobile unit, and the reason why Walgreens now has cameras on their lots 24/7 is this group of people will congregate and then descend upon each bar that's open and start their own party on the outside. The bar owners have said, we've asked them to leave because they're being reported as noisemakers. It's not the bar, it's the uncontrolled in the public streets. So this polarization is good to hear. We're with Cassie. It's time to do something positive. Many of the bar owners have set closing earlier on their own. Some of the bar owners say that their sales from the 2 to 4 is for the service industry and the third shifts. And you think about when people get off work, they want to go get something to eat. So they're all valid points, but the balance is becoming the most difficult thing.
And Aaron, can I add one more thing that I think is just relevant to the conversation? I do want to note that the original Highlands, the Cherokee Triangle, and Tyler Park, which I think of as like the 3 neighborhoods that have a lot of those 4 a.m. licenses. So we have 171 in the city. We have like 36, 38 in that like heart of Bardstown Road area. Those are the neighborhoods that have the most of them. And they have all passed resolutions saying that they want the bars to close earlier. I think some of it is because of the increase in violence. And quite frankly, some of it is just feeling like we have too many 4 a.m. licenses and there's nothing that we can do to stop the ABC from granting them. Every single time that they apply, they get granted. So we just don't want any 4 a.m. licenses if we can't sort of have control over the balance of businesses in our neighborhood. I think we would all agree that having nothing but 4 a.m. nightlife in an area, in a highly dense residential area, while that might work for somewhere like downtown, like 4th Street Live, that is not what we want for a really dense residential area, is nothing but nightlife for obvious reasons. And I'll tell you, I wish that we could do what Atlanta has done, where they've created one entertainment district, like in the middle of no residential areas, that has late night licenses, and it's 2 a.m. everywhere else. State law does not let us do any of those great ideas. So If nothing else, I would suggest email your state representatives and say, Louisville has no control to do anything effective. Please give us more local control. So I'll stop talking with that.
No, you bring up very valid points. And last night's meeting was a very nice collection of reasonably expressed opinions. And so the balancing act falls to somebody. Well, nobody's ever happy, but maybe you can quantify a movement that actually shows calming things down. And that's the one thing the business owners and the neighborhoods have all agreed upon. It's time to calm down. So we know that you're being very challenged. You're very taxed. We greatly appreciate the efforts. Last night was a very wide representation of the neighborhoods. And I truly believe that you are very sincere in what you're trying to do. And we're here to help.
Thank you, Aaron. And I do have to hop off, but I will say I would love it if we came up with a business-led solution that works, so that I don't like having to pass policies for things that I think that we should all be able to agree to do. And so I would love for us to come up with a way that the business community and really the bar community here in the Highlands could be a leader in coming up with a solution that they think would address the gun violence here. And so I'm hoping that maybe you all can start that conversation today. I'm not moving the ordinance anytime soon. It's sitting there for conversation and as really a placeholder to be amended if it needs to be, or to die a slow death in council if it needs to, right? And so I hope that you all will have a conversation to figure out what, as the leading business organization in the Highlands, what you all think could be a business-led response that folks could get behind. So I appreciate you all having this conversation. I have to go teach a bunch of university students this morning, but I very much appreciate you're a very thoughtful group. Aaron was very just wonderful about being there last night and answering questions. So I look forward to hearing the report. Thank you all.
Thank you, Cassie. I think maybe they should consider legislating a new golden rule. Drink unto others as you have those drink to you. Yeah. So, in following up, Major Allen was also at the meeting last night. He is on third shift, so he could not attend today. He says the new shift is the catalytic converters, that in this area, there is a slow riding group of people. They get out, roll out the car, they go underneath a taller vehicle, like an SUV-ish. They have these battery-powered Zuzu cutters. And literally in 10 seconds, they can take a catalytic converter. And they have had, I believe, over 40 stolen in recent times. So there's an organized effort. So he was asking for public awareness. If you see a car that's driving through your neighborhoods or even up and down Bardstown Road, they're driving slow, that's an indicator to them. And there's more than one person in the car. They're again, visual indicators to please let them know because they are actively pursuing this particular group of people. And it happens to everyone, and it's even happened to Cassie. So it's a crazy trend. He says also, while it's been mentioned many times, locking the car, almost 100% of the issues involving vehicles, these cars are unlocked still, and that you've got to take your key fobs with you, and you've got to lock your cars. It would stop a lot of what's going on. And don't put your valuables repeatedly, wallets on the dash, purses sitting on the floor. You know, it's like there are people looking, therefore why make it easy? So he says, please just lock them up, and then a visual. If you see something out of the ordinary, give them a call. Does anyone we're sort of changing the agenda because several things have happened. So does anyone here like to speak to the proposal of closing the bars early? Would you please come up here so everybody? Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Dan Borsch. I just want to say we have a lot of problems on Bardstown Road, and we have to come together and start making some serious plans on how we're going to improve Bardstown Road over the long term, not just the short term. And the reality is that votes are not on the council to enact this legislation. So every minute we're talking about it is a minute we're not spending addressing the serious issues on the street that's going to take all of our efforts to address. I mean, it's a citywide phenomenon with the shootings. It's not just the bar district. I think maybe if you saw the news the other day, they finally arrested a person for shooting on Bardstown Road, and it was in front of the hookah bar that the shooting occurred. It's happening in Old Louisville. It's happening in West Louisville. It's happening downtown. It's not just our bar district. We're just not used to it. And there's a lot of things we need to do to address that, but it's not going to be a divisive issue like shutting down the 4 a.m. licenses that are going to solve our problems. And absolutely, the votes aren't at the council to make it happen. So we need to drop that immediately and pivot to some issues that are going to address immediately the issues on Bardstown Road, and then also focus more energy on the long-term solutions. The $1 million that we're getting is routine maintenance money. It's not seriously addressing what's going to make Bardstown Road a destination over the long term. And I just want to remind everyone, we're the golden goose for this community. The businesses along Bardstown Road, just the businesses and the properties, they generate over $1 million a month in sales taxes alone, just sales taxes. So you take that over the 50 years that we've not had a major investment on Bardstown Road. And we have to recognize that if we're going to continue to be the golden goose, and if we're going to improve as a destination strip, we're going to have to make a serious investment. And it's not just Bardstown Road, it's the entire old city of Louisville that needs these kind of public infrastructure improvements that we're not getting. We're getting expansion of I-71. We're getting expansion of suburban connector streets. And that's our money that's being siphoned out and making their neighborhoods better. And we're suffering the consequences. So I hope everyone kind of has a mental reset and recognizes that right now we're on the wrong track. So that's my opinion, at least. Thank you.
Does anyone have any thoughts? Just asking. In just general information that was given last night, the major made mention to they are short 250 officers, and they're in a program to bring them back online. But it is you just don't overnight create that. So Bardstown Road has gotten off-duty police pulled in as the police force to do the additional patrolling up down Bardstown Road. Part of the recommendation about shutting the bars early loosens up their time. And again, because of the balancing act that they're doing, they are community oriented. They are really trying to create the better balance. But I think your observations are correct. How do you do something immediate? So as we progress through this, I think expediency, Cassie made mention of contacting the bar owners and having them come together and making some agreements of what to do versus being legislated. So it's a long path. I agree, shorter the better because of the issues at hand. If no, is anyone that's on Zoom, would you all like to let us know any thoughts that you have in what's been going on? Now, Bob, I see you over there, and we've had discussions. So if you have anything to say, just let us know. Well, as we progress, seriously, if you all decided or form a thought, by all means, make us aware, because we are gathering information. Last night was very useful, in my opinion, of seeing a large contrast of neighborhoods as well as business owners, along with the city officials that were responsible for the different issues that came up. One positive thing that's been going on in recent times, we have a new business coming to the Highlands. And when we were doing the National Night Out, Tom Sulfa with Coffee News was so kind to give us a door prize. And that was 13 months of average coffee news. And lo and behold, through the process, Jazmin Pena was the recipient. So we've invited her to come up today to talk about what she's doing. And she's a Highland-based business. So please come up.
Good morning. How's everybody doing? Okay. All right, my name is Jazmin. I moved here exactly a year ago. And my fiance goes like, "You're crafty, you know how to do events, start doing stuff like that." Because I was going to get a job in the industry. I've been for over 15 years, which is insurance. So I was like, my friend have always told me to decorate events, which is my favorite thing to do. I always throw like nice parties and stuff like that. So I was like, I want to start doing that. I just didn't know exactly what. And I was in Tampa, where I'm from, a few months ago. And one of my best friends bought a giant balloon for my friend's son's birthday. And I was like, "How much do you pay for that?" She was like, $75. I was like, "I can do that." Either way, I came back home and I purchased the industrial vinyl so you can, make the balloons pretty and everything else. I started my own Instagram account. And people started asking me if I can do the balloon garlands, which I've done it before, but not professionally. So I just started watching videos, and I'm very crafty. So I figured out, people have been hiring me. I started doing this for why not? And I'm getting so busy every weekend. And I really enjoy it. I'm doing grand openings, birthday parties, bridals, baby showers. So nationally that out, yes. And it is so pretty. Everything comes so pretty all the time. You guys have any questions? Oh, okay. How can I do it? Oh, okay. Yes, it is Jazz-It-Up Louisville, Jazz-It-Up_Louisville, or also on Facebook, Jazz-It-Up Louisville. And I also have a website, which is Jazz-It-UpLouisville.com. Huh? Yes, it is. It goes with my name. My name was like, "Well, your name is Jazmin, Jazz-It-Up." And everybody calls me Jazzy, by the way. So I'm excited to be here and get to know a lot of people. So let me know if you need anything. Oh, no, I work from home. Actually, my fiance and I just bought a new house in Highlands. I live by Bowman Field. But now we're going to be really in the Highlands. So I'm excited. I think we're going to be moving like within a week or so. So I'm excited. And I'm new to Louisville. I'm still getting to know people and make new friends and walk around new businesses. And I'm excited. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Well, I wish I had a picture of what she did for the National Night Out. And again, she creates photo backdrops and the creativity that she has expressed just sort of oozes out. She's very creative, and her displays are very attractive. And speaking of positive things happening and new businesses, do you have any updates for us, Nick?
Real quick.
Sure. Come on up.
I reported last month on, gosh, 4 or 5 businesses that were in the process, but just kind of a quick update. For those of you that may be familiar with Highwire Brewery, that's in Baxter, which is right there at the corner of Bardstown Road, Baxter and Broadway. Thanks. I popped in there the other day, and they actually going to open tomorrow, so that will be opening. And also another business I think is going to be a great addition to the Highlands is the Paris on Me Cafe and Bakery. That is where the La Bamba is. La Bamba is kind of on the alley side, but this new restaurant is on the front side. It's the new construction is built 6 or 8 months ago. So they're going to be opening in about mid-September. He said that's really a went in there. They've really done a great job on building that out. Very contemporary. And again, going to be a great addition to the Highlands as well. And the other restaurant that I mentioned previously also is the Big Bad Breakfast, which is going to take over the location where Martin's Barbecue was. So that's on Barrett Avenue, and not sure when it's going to be opening, but it will be another breakfast location. So that's all I have for now. Thank you.
Wonderful. Absolutely. Today we were going to have a very comprehensive overview of the Pride weekend. Due to a decision actually was last night, we were informed they have canceled that. And again, just in looking at COVID and different things. So Mike was not able to be here today and does apologize, but they are looking forward to next year. And any support or continued support that we can do for them, they're very hopeful as well. It's a very difficult decision to make, and especially on an event that involves the whole neighborhood. And we look forward to working those details out for next year. Another little shift, but still positive, the Highlands Commerce Guild and the neighborhoods have gotten together doing neighborhood nights out. They've been on Wednesday nights. The last one, third Wednesdays of the month. Due to an opportunity, we've decided to work with Cassie, and we're shifting that to Sunday from 2 to 6. There's some additional organization going on. It is a shift of time and dates, and we just like people to know that now so that they can adjust their schedules. But again, it's music, trolley, discount at the businesses, and it's again supporting the local establishments and the neighborhoods getting together and having a little cheer. It was on the September 26th. The September 26th from 2 to 6. Yes. One new project that we were, the Louisville Police Department is looking at putting on blue lights on the street cameras. And in doing so, they make them more visible, and it's an improvement of that. So when you're in an area, you're aware the cameras are on. It's approximately a $9,000 project. Cassie and the Highlands Commerce Guild are participating and help fund it, but they've asked the community, and again, on any level, if any of the businesses or neighborhoods would like to participate, we asked you to contact Major McKinney. It's Kinley, K-I-N-L-E-Y, at the LMPD. It's something, it's interesting because statistically it's proven camera visibility makes a difference. So that's one more exciting project that's popped up. Yes, sir.
I had no idea that those cameras are. Once we moved them available and noticed every graffiti, you know what, it's gonna crawl out there and spray them. So there's a downside to it.
As always in this community, there are very interesting observations that are good to be expressed so that in the planning process,
No problem. Who's gonna be responsible if that happens? We're not responsible.
no. Okay, our graffiti program is ground-based, and Ralph is here. Actually, just so people know, yes, Ralph has been extremely busy trying to work through the graffiti in the area. But once it's really and truly, there's within reason. There are some buildings that are 3 stories tall. We cannot work on that. Ralph, how, 2 stories, story and a half? All right. I understand. Well, we, as always, very flexible, very willing. Ralph has been an outstanding help to this community. I cannot say enough about somebody that's gone through what he's gone through to help us combat the craziness of some of these people. So the program is intact. We have had a very good result and turnaround time. And so by all means, graffitibusters.com. Buster, one Buster, graffitibuster.com, right? So if you make us aware, we're happy to go forth and address the graffiti issues that we can reach. Nick, we are going to have a little drawing for a $25 gift card. So do you want to give out? So everybody's been entered into the drawing, and Jazz is going to jazz it up. And who is number 4? Oh, excuse me, number 2. Dan's the grand winner, $25. Congratulations, Dan. Hey. All right. Again, now this is sort of the opposite. We're going to introduce everybody here. Each person introduce themselves. Please, on screen, as we come around, we'd like to hear who you are. And so, Ralph, how about you starting us off? And Nick?
Good morning, Nick Morris, owner of Safety and Board member.
Myers, that's associate and mental health.
Dan Morris, I have the whole tavern.
Tom Sepura, I run the Thought News and take care of the Highland.
And who do we have?
My name is Adema. I'm with Park Community Credit Union.
Sure. And I'm Aaron Gavan, Gavan Venture Realtors. Cannot thank everyone. Now, on screen, does anybody want to introduce themselves?
Hi, I'll jump in. I'm Nancy Chazen. I'm the Executive Director of National Council of Jewish Women Louisville section, and we own and operate the Nearly New Shop in Mid-City Mall, and I'm also a Highlands Commerce Guild board member.
And as we wait for anyone else that wants to tune in, Jeff Myers is also our treasurer for the Highland Commerce Guild. Mark Abrams is also on the board. Tom Sulfa's on the board. Amy, she does everything. What can I say? So, and Nick Morris is also on the board. And Ralph, whether he likes it or not, he's on the board. So, if there are no other announcements or introductions, I cannot thank you all enough for joining us today. I realize and apologize for all the shifts that happened from last night to this morning, but we still are communicating. We are part of the connection to the neighborhoods and the businesses with our local government, and look forward to meeting with you again. Thank you for being here. Casitos for everybody.